He threw that patch on, make it look like he was in a club, but he was never in a club.
They want to be able to tack like 15 felonies upon jaywalking across the street. This outlaw motorcycle member was, and it doesn't matter what they stack on you.
Because they're a friend or they know somebody and they start hanging them around and making them an official hang around. Next thing you know, they're prospecting. Before you know it, they got a patch. And I'm going, you've never been in a club.
His dad was a bandito. He borrowed $100 from the club. It might have been 1,000. I don't know. But his own son was 86.
I think it was from that point on, I was like, one day, I'm going to be one of those guys.
And he said, if you don't get on a stand, you're going to lose. You're going to jail. I said, I can't take the stand.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Keri Vandiver.
Honesty, first of all, to be an outlaw is to live outside of the law. That's outlaw, outside of the law, right? So to be an outlaw is to be frowned upon anyways, right?
Yeah.
But you got to think about it from a person that doesn't wear the badge or isn't sitting behind a gavel. And we're just regular people living 9 to 5s, or, some of us are addicts. Some of us are prostitutes. Some of us have been through a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? And we're just regular people. It's kind of like, some of these guys are heroes. Now, I seen a video a few days ago on TikTok where this mother was teaching her young daughter and said, listen, if you ever get lost, the first person I want you to go to is a big, scary biker, because he will bring you to me and he will keep you safe. And that's one thing I can say about bikers as a misconception is that 99% of them is not scared to protect someone, not scared to put their life on the line for a complete stranger that's in danger right in front of them. Now, they're not going to get involved if they get a phone call for domestic violence. Motherfucker, you take care of that yourself. I ain't getting involved in that shit. But let something go down in front of their face and they're not scared to stand on their business. So I believe there is a misconception on bikers as far as that's concerned. Yeah.
So do you think your father put a lot of effort towards the club and towards the end of his life? Do you think do you think the club went first and family went second?
Well, after my mother passed away, my father kind of definitely gave up. So he committed 1,000% of himself to the club. I was definitely in my stage where me and him had unresolved issues, as much as I loved him and still do. We had unresolved issues. And, I see, I don't want to say I'm upset with the club, but because I'm not, they didn't do anything wrong, but, and this is why I took myself out of that group on Facebook because, the guy's name got mentioned and I don't know if I should say his name or not, but he was in prison with my dad and my dad sat with him. He was one of the only black members of, a black chapter of the Pagans a long time ago. And he's black, and a white supremacist decided to fight my father, over it. And the guy somehow took my dad's eye out and broke his jaw in 2 places. And the black pagan ran. He ran and he left my dad for dead. And so his name was brought up in the group and it really stabbed me in the heart because I'm like, people really look at this guy still as a patched in member.
Is he one? Still?
I don't know. I've talked to a couple of people and I haven't actually asked the question. I could ask my uncle, but at the same time, I don't want to, my uncle's old, I don't want to put him through anything. He's been through enough.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just let it lay where it lays. My father's passed away and what's done is done type, but it does hurt that, people don't know what that guy did to my dad, so it's hard. But I had to let that guy know, you know what I'm saying? I posted what I posted and I don't give a fuck. I'm unapologetic about it because that's my father, you know what I'm saying? So I'm the one who carries his last name And, you know, I had to let the guy know who he mentioned and who that guy is. And he didn't like that. So he suspended my account temporarily.
So the guy who ran and left your dad, he was in this group?
No. He was mentioned in the group.
So the person who runs the group got mad.
He got upset at the things that I commented because I was very respectful at first, and then my comment got deleted. So I said, oh, okay. So I expected him to come in my inbox and ask me at least what's going on, you know? And so with that being said, because he didn't, I got fucking pissed. And with my temper, I did say a few things that unapologetically were said. And so instead of responding to me or coming in my inbox, he temporarily suspended my account. So I took that as you're trying to silence me. And I, being me, I won't be silenced. So I left the group. Fuck your temporary suspension. I'm the fuck out. This group shouldn't even be anyways.
Yeah.
So, you know, that is frustrating, you know, and again, if my father was alive, he wouldn't let none of that slide either. And I know that.
When your father gets out of prison, what was it like? Can you walk me through it when he gets out and you're reconnect with him?
Well, first of all, you know, me and my dad would periodically speak to each other. There'd be a lot of times where I didn't answer the phone. And again, that stems from our unresolved stuff. But when we called and we spoke to each other, you know, a couple years before the end of his bid, he'd be like doing laps around the building and working out, you know, playing basketball with the fellas, you know, and he still had diabetes and things like that, but things weren't nearly as bad as after that fight. So after the fight, they threw him in the hole for about 8-9 months with like basic medical care. And so that was horrible. And so he was like that for a while before he came home. And then when he came home, he was unrecognizable. He was unrecognizable. And I felt like I was hugging a stranger, you know. My uncle and his wife drove out to go get him. And, you know, I anticipated his arrival. I knew he was going to come to my house, even though he was paroled to my foster mother's house. I knew he was going to come to me because I'm the most familiar thing, close to my mother as he can get, you know?
Yeah.
So I expected him and I didn't expect to see him like that though. So I didn't want to make it obvious that I was in shock. So I kind of just hugged him and was like, you know, fuck in my head, you know, I'm just like, what the fuck, you know?
What, he lose a lot of weight?
No, he the opposite. He gained a lot of weight because remember they had him in the hole and then he was immobile. He couldn't really, you know, he was bound to a wheelchair type shit most of the time. So he winded up just eating whatever he can get his hands on in jail because, you know, he's a big back. And he came home, gained a whole lot of weight, and he could barely walk up 2 steps, not because of his weight, but because of his health. He was very weak. Unfortunately, I thought that he was exaggerating. But after he passed away, he left me everything. And so when I didn't even finish yet, and it's been a few years since he's passed away. His medical records were so thick that I couldn't even get through it all still, and it's been a few years. So he just was not exaggerating. He really did feel all that pain he was moaning about. So he just was not in a good space mentally. He was definitely not in good physical condition. And 92 days later, he passed away.
So you got to spend like 3 months with him.
On and off, yeah, because you know, unfortunately, I ignored him at the end. I didn't know that he was gonna go. He kind of just committed. You know, he asked. I guess when you get a certain age and your bodily functions start running, you know, shutting down, they give you the option to take yourself out. And so he could have lived a few more years, but I don't know if it was because I was ignoring him or he just was going to go anyways, whether I was talking to him or not. He just was like, yup, take me out, you know, and he didn't tell anybody, you know. So, you know, we went to go see him in the hospital, and then me and my uncle Trucker were going to go up there the next morning and talk to him. We knew it was going to be one of our last talks with him, but I didn't expect him to show up at my door and say, we got to go pick up your dad's stuff because he's passed on. I was expecting to go talk to him one more time. So, you know, that sucks. So it wasn't such a pleasant ending for him. You know what I mean?
How much time did your dad do because he did the time for the club, right?
Initially, he was sentenced to 10 years. He had a really good lawyer. Shout out to Russo. He's awesome. Love him. He's like family. And then, funny story, he does not like chicken on the bone. He refuses to eat chicken on the bone. And that's probably where I got it. I don't like it either. So, you know, they had that for dinner at mess hall. And so my dad threw it in the garbage. So the CO told him to go get it out of the garbage and eat it. So my dad was very nonchalantly like, okay, no problem. And he goes to get the chicken. He takes the chicken out, brings it over near the CO, and slaps the CO in the face with the chicken. So he got 2 years for assault on a correctional officer. So he served 12 years total.
For a piece of chicken.
For a piece of no, not for a piece of chicken, because he assaulted the guy with the chicken.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so 12 years total.
That's a long time.
It is a very long time, yeah.
And it all stemmed from this operation Take Down the Pagans, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
What was his original charges? Do you remember?
Well, as far as I know, it was all a RICO. So some of my father's charges were like drug charges, attempted unaliving murder, a few of those, conspiracy, extortion, I mean all that stuff. So I guess a RICO would mean that one charge, all charge, you know. So
And there was a lot of people in that indictment, right?
oh yeah, there was people from out of town, out of state.
Did they all get a lot of time?
All but the people that you know, told, that folded, yeah. 10 years plus, as far as I know.
And the rest get to walk away?
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. Actually, it's funny because JR, John Ebling, he was one of the ones that folded, he told, and so he was released. I actually ran into his son at an event that my fiance does music, so we go to shows, and his son is actually there, and he's like, oh, you don't remember me, you know, as kids, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you know, but I did wind up remembering him after some stories, and that was his son. So he doesn't fuck with his dad. He doesn't talk to him. He doesn't like him. They don't get along. So he doesn't know where he is, whatever, you know.
It's protection program, probably.
You know, who knows after all this time, you know, I mean, look at Henry Hill, you know, he just died of what, old age, health issues?
Yeah, he died a while ago.
You know what I mean? So like, who knows? Who even knows? I don't know.
So now, did your dad still have his patch when he went into prison?
Oh, absolutely.
So when he got out, did he get his original patch back?
Oh, you mean like physically by the police?
No, like, did they take his patch when he got arrested?
So the patch would be on the cut. And
yeah.
So yes, they took his cut.
So they take it and keep it.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. I thought
as far as I know, that's what they did to my dad. That's what I know.
Now when he gets out, is he still involved?
Oh yeah. Like as far as like his parole and stuff is concerned, you mean? Or like club wise?
I mean, like, so like club wise. So he gets out of prison. Does he get a new patch? Does he get like, is he still involved with the club? Still involved with going to meetings and meeting these people?
Mm-hmm. So my dad was only home for 92 days. So his main focus was to get reacquainted with his grandkids, and try to salvage any kind of relationship that me and him can try to build. And so one thing I could say that he really, really in his heart of hearts wanted to do. But you know, his soul is always tied with the pagans. And if he had to go to a meeting, and he had to, he would have pulled up in his wheelchair, half dead, can't breathe, oxygen tank, like Piney, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just like that. He would have, but nobody asked him to. I'm pretty sure that people kind of knew, his physical state, and he just got home type thing. Now, did he communicate with the club? That I don't know. I think most likely, but I don't, he wouldn't have told me that.
Him doing all that time and being related to the club, did they take care of him while he was in prison?
Oh, yes. Yes. So that's one thing I can say too, is that when my father passed away, and like I said before, I got all his stuff, I would see Christmas cards in there signed by all the pagans and letters. And, I know that they sent my father money and things like that. So they definitely took care of my dad. And that's something that he did tell me. So yeah, for sure. Sent him
That's
pictures.
awesome, because a lot of times certain people just get left in the wind when they go to prison.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. But no, that wasn't the situation with my dad in the club. The club really was there for him.
So after he passes away, what happens then? Like, are you trying to figure a way how to get him buried, or how does that all transpire?
Well, I did make a little bit of a fuss about it, because of the way my dad went out, in that fight that he got into over that member that ran off on him. So I felt like they owed my father to at least contribute to his burial. And so as far as I know, they were a little bitchy about it, but not Conan. I believe Conan was just like, just give him the fucking money. He was a brother, give him the money and let's take care of it. So not only did they contribute, the Catholic Charities contributed, a lot of people pulled together, and me and my friend at the time, before her son unalived my aunt, she contributed. We did a GoFundMe.
Wait. Is her son unalived your aunt?
Yeah. So did you not see my Facebook post or something? Maybe you were filming.
Yeah,
Hollywood.
I
You
was
went Hollywood on me. Yeah, that's what it is.
No. So
All
what
right.
happened? Oh my
So
God, that's insane.
Yeah, no, it gets crazy, Bill. Okay, so I take my daughter to dance class. I come home and, I'm running off Wi-Fi right now. And so when I get home and my Wi-Fi starts pinging, I start getting messages, and it's messages from people that are actually Roadblock's family. This is how that connects. I'm not blood related to them in Vermont. He is. But my aunt, their baby sister, my dad's baby sister, moved up there and has been staying there for like 20 plus years, right? So moving forward, I get home and I thought it was my sister. Maybe she overdosed. I don't know. Maybe she, did something crazy to herself. I don't know. Come to find out that I called my cousin Crystal, and she's like, Keri, Aunt Paul and Uncle Steve were both murdered tonight. And Bill, I expected them to go from my uncle had Parkinson's. My aunt was very sick too. She had major stuff going on. So I figured if anything, they'd die of some kind of health related issue. So we're trying to after the initial shock, I call my cousin, I call my little cousins, their grandkids, and we're all crying and, going back and forth. Now, me and my best friend of 20 plus years, we had a little bit of a falling out a couple weeks before this. So we actually stopped talking a little bit. She called me and she's like, did you hear what happened?